and looking around this beautiful, large room, I dare say that there is virtually no one who did not herself face or is extremely close to someone who faced the most agonizing choice of whether to abort or not. In many cases, you know how difficult that choice was, how long you, she, they were in pain before, during, and after that choice. Yet you and your family and your loved ones could thank God that unlike prior to Roe and prior to 1967 when abortion was illegal in all 50 states, you had the right to make that decision and go on. And I dare say that many, probably most people who rail against our position, who call us murderers, faced at one time in their life or in the life of someone they cherished the same agonizing dilemma. And they could thank God privately to be sure, silently to be sure, that they could make the choice that would affect the rest of their life. They enjoyed that cherished freedom and now spend the rest of their lives trying to deny it to others, to their children, and to ours. What rank hypocrisy! Of course, they save their deepest vitriol, their most self-righteous indignation, for those very few courageous doctors who perform late-term abortions. When I expressed outrage during these past High Holy Days about the killing of Dr. George Tiller in his church, no less, several members of my congregation came up to me and told me that a member of their family had made their way in agony and desperation to Dr. Tiller. A dear friend and a congregant, a gifted neonatal physician, Dr. Helen Towers, wrote the following to me. The predominant reasons for pregnant women to choose late termination are fetal anomalies, usually chromosomal, neurological, but also skeletal, urological, or cardiac. Some of the anomalies are not found until the second trimester after confirming genetic testing or MRIs. Most of the anomalies will lead to death immediately or shortly after delivery, but can also lead to a lifetime of suffering, repeat hospitalization, infections, neurological devastation, financial ruin, and family hardship in the extreme. One of these, our colleague Rabbi David Young, who wrote the following. About a month before my wife Natalie, who was 34 weeks pregnant, and my ordination from the Hebrew Union College as rabbi and cantor respectively, we were shocked to discover that the baby had microencephaly and lissencephaly. In plain English, the head was too small and the brain was not developing. The first, second, and third options all told us the same thing. Our baby would not live outside the womb. Natalie and I made the difficult decision to terminate the pregnancy. That's the kind of people Dr. Tiller has tried to help. And a colleague of his, Dr. Leroy Carhart, recalls that before Roe, botched abortions, anywhere from the first to third trimester, left women with perforated uteruses, intestines protruding from their vagina, or untreatable pelvic infections. The way Carhart remembers it, it was a good week in the emergency room if only 5 women died. Once Carhart saw a rape victim in the third trimester of pregnancy. Every time she felt the baby move, it brought the rape back all over again. She attempted suicide 3 times. Carhart performed the abortion. The day before Tiller's death, a woman came to Carhart's Nebraska clinic 28 weeks along. Carhart asked her, "What would you do if you carry the baby to term?" She said, "I would put it up for adoption." He turned her away. Moreover, Carhart refused elective abortions when the fetus is likely viable. But he wanted to be there, as few others, as few OBGYNs will, for that suicidal rape victim or that New Yorker who just discovered a fatal fetal defect. Since Tiller's death, there are fewer than 10 doctors across the country willing to help. Dr. Carhart is one of them. Do we in this room do a good enough job explaining all of this? Explaining the tortured feelings of parents already mourning the child who will not live outside the womb. Parents who are desperate to find anyone who will help them. Where are so-called pro-lifers when that same family drowns in neonatal expense with a child who will never know cognitive living? They are the same people who don't give one damn whether or not that family has health insurance or not, who will not be around when those people become destitute and desperate, who will not be around and will not have to deal with a child who has no chance at life. Is that what being pro-life is supposed to mean?